Hello everyone, this is John Samuel Levitt, the tech lead of GDG on campus MRUH. So in this video, I'm going to be walking you through the first learning path, that is the basics of Google Cloud Compute. So basically in this learning path, we have four modules and four of them are labs. So firstly, we are going to create a virtual machine and we are going to creating a persistent disk. And the next thing is that we'll be hosting a web app on Google Cloud using Compute Engine. And finally, we have the challenge lab, which after completion, you will be getting a course batch, which is the acknowledgement as you have completed this particular challenge lab. So in this particular video, we're going to be especially focusing on the first module of this learning path, which is creating a virtual machine. And also, in case you don't know how to get access into this particular learning path, you can just simply get on to the email that you have received from for joining the Google Cloud Study Jams. Here below, you will find a link here. Opening this particular link will take you to this particular document where you can see all the learning paths that you are going to focus on in this particular campaign. So after getting into this, the first learning path, we're going to enter into the lab we're going to be focusing on here. So you can see here they provide instruction manual for this particular lab. And here it's going to use 1 credit of the 400 credits you have received from Google Cloud. So in case you want to dive deep into this lab, you can just take a look at all the information that is here about this particular module, this particular lab. And you can also follow the steps given here in order to complete this lab. And you can just skip this video if you want to try and complete this lab on your own. So, okay, we'll be starting with the lab. First of all, we're going to start the lab and it's going to ask you for the credit. We already have redeemed 400 credits for this lab. So I'm going to launch with 1 credit. Here we can see the lab has started and make sure you always open this particular open Google Cloud Console button with a new incognito window. So here it's going to display all this information to you. You just click on I understand and agree, continue. Okay. So here you see the dashboard of the Google Cloud account it has provided you with. This is basically a student account that is uh, provided temporarily just for this particular lab session. So after this lab session, you won't be having access to this particular student ID. Okay, so you can see they already have created a Google Cloud project for you for this particular lab. So if you want to manually create some project, you have to do it on your account or this account because they will be providing you all the things that is required to complete this lab already. So in this particular lab, we're going to be focusing on creating a virtual machine. So firstly, we are going to activate our Cloud Shell here. Continue. It's going to ask you for authorization. You can just authorize this using the same student account. Okay, so we have uh, the shell cloud shell has opened. So here they have firstly gave you some commands over here that you can just simply copy and paste. So these commands are nothing but when you create a particular project and you want to access that project through the cloud shell, then you're going to use such commands in order to tell the Google Cloud that you're going to be working on this particular project on this particular regions. So simply just copy paste these commands over here. Okay, we're done with that. And the first task we are provided is to create a new instance from Google Cloud. So here, as I have mentioned before, you can simply try to mess around and try to complete this lab on your own by following these instructions. But if you find this difficult and you want to look for a walkthrough, then I'm going to walk you through with this. Okay. And here we have we have to create a new instance for the cloud console. So we are going to search in this. We are done with this cloud shell for now. So we're going to minimize it. Here we're going to type I'm sorry, VM instances. As you can see here, you're going to click on VM instances, and we're going to create an instance for this particular lab. So in this lab, they were particularly asking us for creating an instance with this following configuration. You see, sorry. Okay. So firstly, we're going to copy paste the value they have given for name and the region and the zone. Central A. The region is already given by them. And they have asked us to choose the E2 series and the machine type as E2 medium, which are already selected. And don't worry about this cost here, as this cost is covered by the student account that is provided by Google Cloud. So don't worry, your money won't be getting cut through any of these labs. All these are covered by the Google Cloud. So here they have asked us for E2 medium. The E2 medium is already selected, and they are asking us to click on OS and storage. You can find that here. And in the OS and storage, they're asking us to select the operating system as Debian and the version as this and the boot type as balanced persistent disk and the size as 10, which is already done, uh, which is already here. So you don't have to change anything over here. You can simply just get on to the next task, which is clicking on network and allow the HTTP traffic for this particular one. So we're going to click on networking here, and we're going to allow the HTTP traffic. And all you have to do next is just create this virtual machine instance. So just wait for a while until this gets done. After that, you will be getting information about this particular instance, and you can see a button over here which will be the secure shell for this particular VM instance that you're going to open, and you're going to run some commands in it as instructed by this instruction manual here in order to install an nginx web server. Okay, so we're going to wait for a while. Okay, so here you can see an SSH button, which is the secure shell. So you're just going to be clicking on that, and the secure shell will be opening here. It will be asking for authorization. So you just click on authorize, and it will be authorizing to the student account that is provided by Qwiklabs for this particular session. So here you're going to be again um, copy pasting this particular commands that are provided in this instruction manual. So after you get the desired output from this commands, you have to click on check my progress. Uh, so let us do it. Let me copy these commands. Okay, so we are done here, and now we can check the progress to see if it's done. Don't worry if it doesn't get done. So sometimes it takes time for it to recognize that the task has been completed, as it's running on a cloud system. And the region and the time zones for that cloud systems may differ, the one you are running your OS on. So it might take a while sometimes, and it might show an error. that your task has not been completed. So don't worry about that. Just wait for a while. You just click on check my progress again. So it is done here right now. So we can move on to the next task, which is creating a new instance with Google Cloud. So they have provided us with a command over here. So don't run this command inside of the secure cloud shell. We are going to be running this command on the actual cloud shell from Google Cloud Platform. So the one we were using here before, it's right down here for me as I minimized it. So, okay. So now I'm going to be copying that command and I'm going to paste it over here. Don't worry if it takes a while. It will take its time to get it done. So after this gets successful, you can check your progress again. So after this, you can run all this tasks over here. Okay, it's done. Let's move on to the next commands. But before that, let us check our progress here. So it's completed. We can move on to the next commands here. So just a piece of information before we move on to the next command. Here you can see a score meter. If these get fulfilled by doing this particular checks here and here. So for in some modules, there might be more number of checks. So if you're completed with the lab, don't just click on the end lab. Just try to check if this is showing the maximum marks here, because sometimes it takes time to update these marks score values. So just take beware to take a look at that, because if the score is not updated and you're ending the lab, then it's going to just mark the score that was here before you ended the lab. So you just have to be aware that you end the lab after scoring the full marks. So here, as we were completed with both of the checks, we can directly end the lab here, and it's going to consider it as an completion of the lab. If you want to go and if you want to also perform the next commands, you can do that too for your information. Also for the task 4, there is just a last quiz thingy here. So after everything is done, you can just click on end lab and you can end the lab. That is all for this lab. So that's it, guys. That's all for this session. We'll be covering the next parts of the module for this particular lab session in the next sessions. So thank you, everyone. Goodbye.